Now at 10, a fast-moving brush fire burning out of control in Riverside County, forcing evacuations in Harupa Valley. We are live over the firefight.
Plus, you may want to avoid the 405 freeway in the Sepulveda Pass this weekend. The construction project that's expected to create a traffic nightmare.
And if you're planning to buy a Powerball ticket this weekend, you might want to head to one of the luckiest gas stations in America, and it's right here in SoCal. We'll take you there now on the news at 10. Good evening, I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. We begin with breaking news in the Inland Empire, where evacuation orders are in effect after a brush fire explodes in size.
The fast-moving pyrite fire ignited tonight in Harupa Valley and has scorched at least 200 acres. KTLA's Gil Levis over the scene in Sky 5. Gil.
Micah and Cher, you're looking at some of the flame lengths here. As I zoom out, you can see the extent of the burn here on the hilltop. At the bottom of your screen, you're going to see the 60 freeway. It's burning just north of the 60 freeway here in the pyrite area. In fact, it started around 5:30 this afternoon. If I pan to the left, this is where the fire originated in this darkened area. You can see some of the fire crews down there, and it raced up the hill quickly, putting up a lot of smoke. But once the sun set, the fire started to lay down a little bit, but it did make a run towards Sierra Avenue, and the firefighters worked hard to stop the progress over there off of Sierra, off to the east. Now, the evacuation orders and warnings are still in effect right now, and you can see there's one water dropping helicopter that's active here, putting water drops on the fire. Fortunately, they have a golf course right in the area where they can draw some water from. But again, a lot of active flame out here, at least in this area. But for the most part, the fire has laid down right now. As you said, 200 acres, 0% contained, and a lot of firefighters working hard tonight. They do have fire protection groups in the neighborhoods here just to the east side of the fire right now. But again, evacuation orders in the Oak Quarry area along Sierra Avenue and Armstrong Road, north of the 60 freeway, from Pyrite to Armstrong. All this area that you're seeing here at the bottom of your screen, that's under evacuation orders and warnings right now. But as I push back into the flames, there's still a lot of brush up here that has not burned, and it is continuing to burn, but be able to get this as the night progresses. That's the latest overhead up in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Gil, thank you. And while Gil Levis was reporting over the pyrite fire, he captured this incredible lightning show from Sky 5. This is the view around 8:20 tonight, looking northeast of Barstow, where we saw a parade of lightning strikes. And with lightning comes the concern for more wildfires. Let's turn things over to meteorologist Vera Jimenez for the latest on the conditions tonight. V.
Thank you so much, Cher. As we go ahead and take a look at the max Doppler, the area near where that lightning strike was happening is right around here. It was just a little bit northeast of Barstow, and there was one active cell, a couple of active cells that were relatively small, especially because this happened to happen after the temperatures had started to drop. And so even though there was still some heat, enough to generate at least a pop-up thunderstorm or two, we didn't see much activity beyond there. Double checked with the National Weather Service, and they said, nope, that really was about it. As we go ahead and take a look at tomorrow, though, we're going to see that threat once again. Remember that over the mountains and the deserts, especially over the desert areas, the temperatures are still going to be well above average. We're not going to see that cooling trend until the early part of next week. So once again, as we head into the late afternoon, early evening period, that is when we start to see a little bit of active weather. I looked at the future cast for the weekend, and it looks like anything that does happen will potentially happen southeast or southwest of Palm Springs. So a little bit further to the south is where we are going to see the potential for more of those pop-up thunderstorms, and with that, some lightning strikes. The rest of the forecast, and more importantly, the cooler weather heading our way in just a few minutes. Back to you guys for now.
Thank you, Vera. The 405 getting a much-needed facelift. Unfortunately, the road work is expected to cause a massive traffic nightmare this weekend. So if your weekend plans include driving through the Sepulveda Pass, you might want to find another route.
Well, that's because the Caltrans work will include partial and full closures. KTLA's Chris Wolf is live in Brentwood with a look at what's going on right now. Chris?
Yeah, that's right. Hello, Cher and Micah. 14 years, can you believe it, after Carmageddon with the 405 expansion. Here we are again in a pinch, in a squeeze, if you will, a shutdown that is taking place as we speak. starting right now. The 405 freeway through the Sepulveda Pass will be partially closed this weekend for a years-long repaving project. You might say a major road improvement project is now rolling along, although countless wheels are not. Southern Californians will have to hit the brakes and find alternative routes to avoid traffic jams along the 405 freeway through the Sepulveda Pass. A rehabilitation project will cover a 10.2-mile stretch between the LA communities of Van Nuys to the north and Westwood to the south. The California Department of Transportation, or Caltrans, says crews will repave sections of 2 lanes in each direction. The project also includes repairing or replacing overhead sign structures, nearly 100 sign panels, and upgrading thousands of feet of metal beam guardrail along the primary corridor between the San Fernando Valley and West Los Angeles.
I think the biggest thing that we want motorists to know is really just to avoid this area of the 405 during these weekends if you can.
We've been through Carmageddon before. We've been through numerous road closures before, so we'll get through it.
What do you plan to do to avoid any major jams with this project?
Sepulveda Boulevard. Just take Sepulveda all the way down. You can get to LAX to Bel Air, so always Sepulveda. And then the little side streets. When you're from LA, you know the side streets.
What are you going to do during the weekend, during the closures?
Hopefully stay home, not be on the road. You know, if I don't have to come this way, I'll just stay in my own little bubble and, you know, stay put.
Avoid it altogether.
Absolutely.
The cost? Nearly $144 million. Detour notifications and directions will be posted along and around the freeway. Caltrans says the information will also appear on social media. Expect some full closures of the 405 for short periods of time between 12 a.m. and 5 a.m. Back here live, expect another weekend of closures coming up on September 19th. People are also encouraged to explore public transportation during this time of necessary inconvenience. This whole project should be completed by late 2028, early 2029. Stay tuned. Reporting live in Brentwood, Chris Wolf, KTLA 5 News.
Chris, thank you. A senseless shooting on a metro bus near LAX claims the life of a young nursing student who had her whole life ahead of her. Tonight, her devastated family is calling for justice. The suspected shooter is now under arrest, identified as a 16-year-old boy.
The victim's family wants the teenager tried as an adult for gunning down their beloved daughter over a senseless dispute. Mary Beth McDade live in Westchester, near where that shooting happened. MB.
Yes, and Mike and Cher, her cousin says that this loss has absolutely devastated their family. She describes her cousin as a very loving person with a beautiful soul.
She was the sweetest young lady you'll ever meet. I mean, from an early age, she was always so loving.
Emily Garcia is talking about her 18-year-old cousin, Anastasia Morales. Anastasia was killed when shots rang out on a metro bus in Westchester, not far from LAX, on a Friday night 2 weeks ago.
It was such a senseless act of violence. And when I heard that, I mean, it hurt so deep.
Emily says Anastasia and her boyfriend were taking the bus home after a day at the beach when a passenger started going after her boyfriend. Anastasia tried to intervene with pepper spray and was then shot in the chest multiple times by the suspect.
She was scared, and I'm pretty sure he was scared as well. And she just didn't know what to do, and she has had that pepper spray on her.
After witnessing the horrific shooting, Anastasia's boyfriend was inconsolable at the scene. Meantime, Anastasia was transported to the hospital where she later died, leaving her mother, 5 siblings, and the rest of her family heartbroken.
She was a ray of sunshine. She was a beautiful and loving soul.
Emily's family tells us police have since caught the shooter, who they say is 16. They want to see him charged as an adult for taking the Inglewood nursing student's life. A life, they say, was just getting started.
He needs to pay for what he did. He took a young person's life, and I mean, justice for her is for him to be behind bars for a very long time.
And a GoFundMe page has been set up, and there is a fundraiser scheduled for Sunday in Culver City. You can find out more information on both of those on our website, Ktladt.com. For now, reporting live here in Westchester, Mary Beth McDade. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Mary Beth. A Studio City business owner distraught after his wife was detained by immigration officials nearly a month ago. He says she has a green card and passed the citizenship exam and was waiting for the official ceremony when she was picked up by ICE. KTLA's Rachel Menitoff has more on the family's mission to bring her home.
It's like they cut my hands off or my legs off.
Studio City business owner Hushang Agassi, who goes by Sean, says he's lost without his wife, Shorera Mogadam.
I am totally paralyzed because she was part of the business.
The couple are the co-owners of Elegant Balloon in Studio City. Husband and wife are originally from Iran. Shorera, a green card holder, has been in the States for 10 years and had recently passed her citizenship test. Her husband says she was summoned to a local immigration office at the beginning of August, where she thought she was going to take the naturalization oath of allegiance and solidify her citizenship. Instead, he says she was detained and eventually sent to an immigration facility in Phoenix, Arizona.
And we have no any access to call people to where is he, why do you take her over there?
Sean says he still can't understand the reason why. He says his wife has no criminal record. ICE disputes this in published reports, saying Mogadam had a criminal record, including convictions in 2 thefts. They say she had a clear disregard for U.S. laws and was subject to removal. Sean fears his wife will be deported to Iran, where she faces religious persecution as a member of the Baha'i faith.
Her life is in danger if she go to Iran.
Sean is trying to maintain their family-run business as best he can and is collecting signatures for a petition to try to release his wife from federal custody. Their future, though, remains in the hands of an Arizona judge.
Would you leave LA if your wife was deported elsewhere?
Yes, I have to. I don't have a life without her.
Rachel Menitoff, KTLA 5 News.
Meantime, a Chino Hills car wash is temporarily closed after 5 employees were detained during a federal raid. Video captured the moment the manager tried to get agents to leave the property, but they refused.
I have the right to refuse the service, so you're going to leave the property. Thank you for leaving.
The manager says this happened just before noon yesterday on Pipeline Avenue. Agents were seen entering the business with customers and children inside. That manager says none of the workers have criminal records, and one is a permanent resident.
One of the officers asked me if it was a public property. I told him that it was private property. Then he said he was going to go buy an air freshener, that he was a customer. He was just making fun of the situation. They treat people like animals. I seen some of my employees getting thrown on the floor. They were dragging them when they're doing nothing but trying to work to help their families.
The manager says 3 of the employees are being detained at the Santa Ana Detention Center and are facing deportation. The families of 2 other employees have not heard from their loved ones. He says he's having a difficult time hiring and keeping employees, partly because of the fear of these raids.
475 people were detained in a major ICE raid at a Hyundai mega plant in southeast Georgia as the Trump administration cracks down on U.S. work sites.
We're Homeland Security. We have a search warrant for the whole site.